Every gym has that one guy grinding out 300 crunches a day with nothing to show for it. And then there's someone else who does barely any ab work and somehow has a six-pack anyway. If you've ever wondered why that happens, stick around, because the answer isn't genetics and it isn't luck. It's that almost everyone is training their abs completely wrong, and only two exercises actually fix the problem. Here's something that surprises most people. Getting lean isn't the whole story. You can strip away body fat and still not see much definition, while someone else with more fat than you has abs that pop right through. Genetics plays a small role, sure, but the real difference comes down to how the muscle itself is trained, not just how much fat sits on top of it. There's actual research behind this. A study followed a group of soccer players who trained their abs for 10 weeks, tracking exactly how much the muscle grew. And even using fairly average exercises, the results were real, measurable growth across the upper, middle, and lower abs. It doesn't sound dramatic on paper, a couple of millimeters here and there, but a few millimeters is often the entire difference between abs that are visible and abs that stay hidden. You don't just need less fat covering your abs, you need bigger abs pushing through that fat. That matters even more if you're someone who's never had naturally thick abs to begin with.
So why doesn't the average ab routine work? Because most of what people do, planks, side planks, holds, isn't actually building muscle. It's stabilizing it. Your abs are built to do one specific job. Pull your rib cage and your pelvis together by rounding your spine. Planks don't ask your abs to do that. They ask your abs to resist movement, not create it. Expecting a plank to build visible abs is like expecting a wall sit to build bigger quads. You're training endurance, not size. And here's the myth that trips up almost everyone, including the people who think they're doing it right. Keep your back flat during ab exercises. It sounds like good form. It's actually the opposite. The second your lower back stays glued flat and you just swing your legs up and down, your abs stop doing the work. Your hip flexors take over completely. This is the quiet reason so many people train abs constantly and never see results. They're building hip flexor strength, not ab size. The fix is simpler than it sounds. Once you stop letting your hips steal the movement, building your abs becomes almost easy, and you can even choose which section to emphasize depending on the exercise you pick. Let's start with the lower abs. Newer research suggests a muscle grows fastest, closest to whichever body part is moving, the same way leg curls build the lower hamstring more than a deadlift does. So to target the lower abs, you want your hips and lower body moving up toward your torso.
The move, lie back, bend your knees in, and instead of swinging your legs, actively crunch your knees toward your chest while lifting your hips off the surface. Round your spine into a C shape rather than an L shape. If you're newer to this, just focus on lifting your tailbone slightly without any leg swing. That alone is enough to activate the lower abs properly. As it gets easier, straighten your legs more to add resistance, and if you want to push it further, adding a slight arch underneath your lower back increases the stretch at the bottom of the movement, which makes every rep count for more. Now the upper abs work the opposite way. Instead of the lower body folding up, the upper body folds down toward the pelvis. The simplest version of this is a crunch, but again, the same mistake applies. If your spine stays flat and only your shoulders lift an inch, your hip flexors are doing the work, not your abs. Instead, actively fold your chest toward your pelvis, letting your spine extend at the bottom for a stretch and round at the top for the contraction.
Once bodyweight crunches feel too easy, a cable crunch becomes the natural progression. Lock your hips in place, keep your arms fixed near your ears, and fold your spine, not your hips, to bring your chest down. If your hips are sliding backward as you pull, that's momentum and hip flexors again, not abs. Done correctly, your hips barely move while your spine does all the work, arching to stretch on the way up, and rounding to contract on the way down. Like any muscle, growth here depends on progressive overload paired with real recovery. 3 sets of 6 to 12 reps per exercise is a solid target. Once 12 reps feels easy across all 3 sets, add difficulty or resistance. Training abs once or twice a week is enough to see steady progress over time. But here's the part people don't want to hear. Even perfectly built abs stay invisible under enough body fat. Training is only half of the equation. The other half is having a plan to actually reveal what you're building underneath. 2 exercises, done correctly, are genuinely all it takes. The muscle doesn't need 300 reps a day. It needs the right movement, real resistance, and enough patience to let it grow.